Welcome back to another episode of the free VST Plugin Detective, where I review, test out, and demonstrate various free VSTs. This one's really cool. I'm really excited about this one. This is the Spitfire Audio LABS Choir. And what I think is really important about this one is that when it comes to a lot of other VSTs, or even free VSTs, some of them aren't really that difficult. There's a million guitar free VSTs. There's a bunch of orchestra free VSTs and so on and so forth, right? Synthesizers and whatnot. But I think specifically when it comes to choirs, when it comes to the human voice, that human element, I think it's unbelievably tricky because you can kind of fake a guitar a little bit. You can fake a saxophone, right? And by doing different waveform formations, I mean, I've even heard people making the violin sound in Serum, in a synthesizer. However, when it comes to a choir, I think it's unbelievably difficult, if not impossible, to simulate a real choir, right? Unless you just have a good sample library and a good plugin. And that's where this one comes in. My rating is going to be a 4.25 out of 5. I'm going to explain why, obviously, as I go on. Now, this is hands down the best free choir plugin I've ever used. I think just simply because, like I said, we all know the human voice. I know that sounds kind of stupid to say, but I think as a result, it is so unbelievably easy to tell, like, this isn't even a real voice, with a guitar or saxophone or a violin, maybe a little more difficult, unless you're like an expert violinist, but when it comes to a choir, a little more tricky. So now, jumping into the actual plugin, this is the GUI, or the graphical user interface. You basically have three different settings right here. The first is going to be expression, second is going to be dynamics, and obviously I'm going to be playing around with this, and the third is kind of like a bunch of different things you can adjust, which I kind of like. I like the layout of this, although it's simple. And it kind of reminds me a little bit like an Apple Mac Store style layout. You can do amazing things with this plugin. Now, playing it, the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to just the attack, and I'll explain why in a little bit. Turn that off. All right, and so this is how it sounds. I'm going to turn it up even more. Where's the volume? So that's on the upper register, and then lowering it down a little bit. Kind of reminds me, actually, of the Halo theme song. I don't know if that's just me. That's like the first thing that pops into my head the first time I use this plugin. Now, obviously, kind of messing around. As you can see, as you can hear, the main thing about this plugin, the reason why I actually didn't give it a perfect rating, because I think the sample quality is phenomenal when it comes to this plugin. The only thing is I don't like the fact that it's specifically just a long choir, right? Like, that's pretty much just it. That's pretty much all they give you. So that's one thing I don't like. As you can tell, the attack normally is a lot higher, right? So, even the higher I bring it up, the longer it takes, which even putting it on pretty much zero attack, well, you still have to wait a decent amount of time. So this is not the type of choir that I think you're going to have maybe as a cinematic choir, in terms of like stabs or one-shots. It's going to be more of an ambiance or almost reminds me of like a Praddick style production, that you might use for this one. Now going to the different knobs and things on this plugin. So you have the expression. You can get some cool stuff with that. Then you have the dynamics, obviously. You can also go even lower. Then, what's cool here, I think actually this maybe just adjusts maybe the position on the keyboard then. I don't heard it. Let's see. Oh, it does actually have it. So pretty, I don't think you can get super low though, in terms of like that kind of note. Now, obviously, going into... I actually like the way they kind of lay out this wheel. This is kind of cool. So, obviously, you have your reverb, attack, decay, sustain, and release. And what's really interesting I like about this is reverb. You notice that you kind of have the reverb there. Attack, you notice you just have the beginning for the attack, decay, sustain, and release. So it's kind of cool that the inside of the circle changes depending on which one you're selecting. I think a little cool feature, right? And obviously as well, in case you can see, you have CPU, disk, mem, and then obviously voices, not super, like voices are just more of kind of a cool thing to know. So if I do like 4, 5, 6, you know, so you can kind of add different voices as time goes on and adjust everything here. Now, being honest, like I said, attack I think should always be low when using this plugin. And when it comes to reverb, and I've always suggested this for any of my other videos, when you're using a VST, especially a free one, I feel like always do your own reverb. You know, obviously I use stock Ableton reverb in Ableton. I actually love it, so I'll parallel process my reverb in Ableton. Makes things a lot easier. But overall, you know, I guess I'm going to play around a little bit again. I think this plugin is amazing for a long format choir that you might want to have in the background of your tracks, right, for like a nice little ambiance. But the reason why I gave it kind of the 0.75 deduction, the reason why I'm not giving it a full rating, is that I sometimes like having a choir element that can be like a stab, right? So let's say it's like E, O, E, like, right, like in terms of different parts of the song. This one takes a while to kind of kick in, right? So it's more of like a... So I think it has a beautiful texture, beautiful sound quality, but the only thing is I do wish it was more of like a shorter version, you know? But anyway, I'm telling you, when it comes to the sample quality and the sound quality, you cannot beat this. And hey, like all the other videos in this playlist, like all the other videos in the series, it's free. So why not pick it up?